The city-states of Athens and Sparta had been at peace since the end of the Peloponnesian War in 421 BCE with the signing of the Peace of Nicias. However, the terms of the treaty were not fully implemented, resulting in a tense and fragile peace between the two powerful city-states that could shatter at any time. Control of Athens' foreign policy remained divided between a peace party, led by Nicias, and a war party, led by Alcibiades. Both are admired leaders within their respective constituencies. On this day, they are to stand in front of the assembly and speak directly to the citizens of Athens. It is the year 415 BCE, and the assembly of the Athenian people has gathered on the hill overlooking the city of Athens. The assembly is made up of citizens who have come together to discuss and vote on important decisions affecting the city-state. On that fateful day, they had an important decision to make. The war party's main objective for the proposed Sicilian expedition was to attack the city of Syracuse, which was a key ally of Sparta, Athens' main enemy in the war. They hoped that by capturing Syracuse, they would be able to weaken Sparta's position in the war and perhaps even end the conflict on favorable terms. Nicias was a cautious and conservative leader, and he opposed the expedition from the beginning, arguing that it was too risky and would require too many resources. Now, Nicias stands on the speaker's platform addressing the crowd.
Athenians, I beg you to listen to me carefully and to consider my words with the utmost gravity. The decision we make today will determine the fate of our city and our empire. I implore you to think carefully before committing to the Sicilian expedition. I do not underestimate the temptation of conquest and glory, but I urge you to consider the consequences of failure. If we are not successful in Sicily, we will not only have wasted our resources and lives, but we will have weakened our position at home and abroad. Is it worth the risk? I implore you, do not let pride and ambition cloud your judgment. Think carefully before embarking on this venture.
Nicias goes on to detail the many risks and uncertainties associated with the proposed campaign. He points out the logistical challenges of transporting and supplying a large army over such a great distance, the potential for costly and prolonged warfare on foreign soil, and the risk of alienating powerful allies and inviting the wrath of enemies. The crowd listens attentively as Nicias speaks, and many are visibly moved by his words. Some nod in agreement, while others seem uncertain or resistant. Now, is Alcibiades' turn to speak. He stands in front of the assembly, surrounded by his fellow politicians and the citizens of Athens. He is a charismatic and persuasive speaker, and he uses his rhetorical skills to make a compelling case for the expedition.
My fellow Athenians, we stand at a crossroads. We have the opportunity to embark on a grand adventure, one that will bring glory and honor to our city. The island of Sicily lies just across the sea, ripe for the taking. With a bold stroke, we could annex it into our empire and secure our place as the dominant power in the Mediterranean. But more than that, this expedition presents a chance for us to prove our mettle as a people. It will test our strength, our bravery, and our resolve. And I have no doubt that we will emerge from this test victorious. So let us embrace this opportunity with open arms. Let us take up our swords and shields and march forth into the unknown. Together, we can conquer Sicily and secure our place in history.
As Alcibiades speaks, the assembly listens intently, hanging on his every word. Some nod in agreement, while others look skeptical. But all are moved by Alcibiades' passion and conviction. In the end, the assembly votes in favor of the Sicilian expedition, and the Athenians set out on their grand adventure. Despite Nicias' reservations, he is overruled by the assembly and was eventually persuaded to participate in the expedition, and he played a key role in its planning and execution. Nicias would be responsible for overseeing the logistics of the expedition, including the transportation of troops and supplies, and he also was to serve as a military commander. The outcome of the expedition will have lasting consequences for the city of Athens and its people. The Athenians elected Lamachus as the commander of their expedition against Sicily, possibly because they believed he could act as a mediator between the other commanders, Nicias and Alcibiades, who were not on good terms. From the start, the expedition seemed doomed. When the Athenian armada arrived on Sicily, some allies began to question the large number of ships the Athenians had sent. Lamachus proposed attacking Syracuse immediately, while Nicias suggested supporting the allies and returning home before their display of strength caused diplomatic issues. Alcibiades suggested finding more allies, establishing a supply base, and then attacking Syracuse. In the end, Lamachus sided with Alcibiades and the Athenians established a supply base in Catana, north of Syracuse. This meant that the element of surprise was lost. Shortly afterward, Alcibiades was recalled back to Athens in order to respond to a charge of sacrilege that had taken place before him leaving the expedition. Now, there were only two commanders in charge, who did not agree with the current strategy. In the spring of 414, the Athenians laid siege to a prepared Syracuse, led by Hermocrates. The city had built a new wall on the north side, making it difficult to attack from that direction. The Athenians therefore attacked from the northwest, landing at Leon and gaining access to the plateau at Euryelus. They constructed a large fortress called the Circle on the plateau. The Athenians knew they needed to cut off the Syracusans in order to starve them out, so they began building a wall across the Epipolae plateau, with one wall leading to Troilus in the north and another leading to the great harbor in the south. The Syracusans responded by digging a trench and constructing a palisade through the marshy area to the west in order to retain control of a road to the inland of Sicily. Lamachus, leading an elite regiment of Athenian soldiers, destroyed the palisade, but was killed in the process. Nicias, who was now ill, took charge of the expeditionary force but was unable to bring the siege to a successful conclusion. Sparta played a decisive role in the defense of Syracuse during the Athenian invasion. They sent an experienced general named Gylippus to the rescue of their ally. Gylippus was a skilled and experienced commander, and he quickly took control of the defense of Syracuse. He was able to rally the Syracusans, and with the help of other Greek city-states, he was able to mount a successful counterattack against the Athenians. Gylippus was able to use his knowledge of the Athenian tactics and his own strategy to defeat them in several engagements, and slowly but surely he was able to push the Athenians back. He was able to cut off their supplies and to make them suffer from disease and starvation. Nicias sat in his tent, staring blankly at the map of Sicily, spread out before him. The campaign had not gone as planned. They had underestimated the strength and determination of the city of Syracuse, and now they were on the brink of defeat. He thought back to the days before they set out on this expedition. The Athenian assembly had been eager to launch an attack on Sicily, convinced it would be an easy victory. But Nicias had been hesitant. He had warned them of the dangers, the difficulties they would face, but they had not listened. And now, here they were, stranded on a foreign shore, with their supplies dwindling and their men dying. Nicias couldn't help but feel a sense of despair wash over him. He had been a proud general, a respected leader, but now his reputation was in ruins. He had led his men to their doom, and for that, he could never forgive himself. He knew what he had to do. He called a council of war and proposed that they retreat back to Athens. But his fellow commander, Demosthenes, argued that they should stay and fight. In the end, his proposal was rejected. Nicias remembered the last battle clearly. The sound of the trumpets, the clash of swords, the cries of the wounded. It was a massacre. They were outnumbered and outmatched. He saw his men fall one by one, and he knew it was only a matter of time before he joined them. When it was over, Nicias was captured by the Syracusans. They brought him before their leader, Dionysios, and he knew his fate was sealed. And as the blade came down, Nicias couldn't help but think of all the things he could have done differently, all the mistakes he had made. And now, as he lay there, on this foreign soil, he could only hope that his death served as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the greatest of leaders can fall. Sparta's leadership and the military acumen of their general there played a major role in the eventual defeat of the Athenians in Sicily. His success in Sicily was a significant victory for the Spartans and their allies, and it dealt a major blow to the power and prestige of Athens.